It turns out Hollywood hates Spider-Man Brand New Day. They tried to take away its record-breaking weekend, and Kevin Feige is now trying to claim credit for the whole thing. Don't give Sony any of the praise. And how dare you believe that Tom Holland is the man responsible for defeating Avengers Endgame? Today we'll tell you why it's getting crazy out there, including YouTube channel video takedowns. Get ready, folks. This is the story about Spider-Man you need to know. It's a brand new day right here at the Pro Channel. Every day is brand new, shiny, and ready to go. And folks, we are singing the praises of you for coming by, stopping by, and finding out what is happening in the world of entertainment. As we dive in, click that like button, and let's swing on in to the win that Tom Holland has with Spider-Man and a Hollywood desperate to take it away from them. Hollywood and Disney are trying to wrestle back the narrative surrounding Spider-Man after it did way better than they ever thought it would. Ryan Gajewski wrote this for The Hollywood Reporter after the trades on Sunday declared that Spider-Man was number 2. It didn't beat Endgame, but we said then, and we say now, that it got the win. Spidey surprise! Brand New Day lands top opening weekend ever with $360 million, beating Avengers Endgame. We knew this was going to happen, but they had already declared that it had lost. Now they're trying to toss their hats into the ring of telling the truth again. Folks, the final number in for the weekend is $360 million and change. Spider-Man defeats Endgame. But what they're really scared about is that this is not a Disney thing. This is Tom Holland declaring in an interview with Seth Meyers that he helped write the film, that he helped come in when there were scenes that were not working and redo them and have them rewritten overnight, and that he did all of this for the fans, that he cared about the fans. And so they're wrapping their head around this. This is the anti-Star Wars, as Lauren and I have talked about. You know, nobody got Jake Skywalkered. They actually care about Spider-Man. The Wrap is reporting it this way. Jeremy Fuster, all the box office records Spider-Man Brand New Day has broken so far. It says, along with the all-time domestic record, the Marvel film has broken dozens of overseas and premium format records. Folks, go read this from The Wrap, but I'm going to tell you this. The amazing thing about it is that it did it without IMAX. It did it without IMAX. So this is more impressive than just beating Endgame. This is more impressive than just giving the fans what they want, as opposed to what Star Wars and Marvel have been doing. This is amazing that it did it without the highest ticket price viewing opportunity. And they have struck some of our videos. Folks, if you don't know about this, we put out videos covering Tom Holland. You can see right here. I don't know, maybe they'll get us just for showing the image. Tom Holland on Seth Meyers revealing that he's the guy who helped write the thing, that he did it for the fans, that he watched podcasts, that he searched the internet. He wanted to know what do people want in the film. If you want to go watch it, you can. You can't watch it on our channel because we played what I believe to be fair use clips of it and then talked about it. But it says Holland's time in the writer's room adds a new layer to comments he has made elsewhere about the upcoming film. In a separate appearance on the same program, he said he feels like he is living the dream as he prepares for another chapter in the Spider-Man franchise, reflecting on where the role fits into his career as the release approaches. Tom Holland in the writer's room. We've talked about who the writer is that he has attached to that was helping him out. But folks, never have any doubt. Hollywood might be striking our videos. Hollywood might be lying to you and saying that it lost to Endgame before the weekend ended while everybody knew it was going to get the victory. But here's what it's really about. From Variety, Kevin Feige, the Disney Marvel man. Kevin Feige, who has been desperately searching for any kind of success. The only things that have won for Marvel lately are Deadpool and Wolverine, written by Sean Levy, under the direction of Bob Chapek, had nothing to do at all whatsoever with Kevin Feige, and Spider-Man No Way Home, which is Sony again. Well, now Brand New Day is here, and what is Kevin Feige saying? It's his baby. From Variety, Rebecca Rubin, Kevin Feige on Brand New Day, breaking records, Sadie Sink's reveal, and Tom Holland getting a restful victory lap before potential Spider-Man 5. I'll just read this, and Jonas and Lauren, if you guys could hold back your gags for just a minute. Not jokes, by the way, actual like heaving as we watch Kevin Feige do everything he can to claim victory for another studio's movie. Kevin Feige can't stop breaking his own box office benchmarks.
Oh my. Serious.
As the president of Marvel Studios and architect of the sprawling, ultra-successful Marvel Cinematic Universe, Feige is now responsible for the 4 biggest opening weekends in history. By the way, those 4 are Endgame and Infinity War. Those are under Feige. The other 2 are No Way Home and Brand New Day, which are not under Feige whatsoever.
There you go.
Whatsoever. Quote from Kevin Feige. It's overwhelming, frankly, to find ourselves in this position on a Monday morning. In the very best way. Brand New Day, Holland's 4th solo outing as Spider-Man, follows the aftermath of the titular's web-slinger's pivotal decision, No Way Home. Yeah, we get all that. After a historic weekend at the box office, Feige, who is not the guy over this film, this is a Sony film. Feige works for Disney. Feige spoke to Variety about Tom Holland's enduring popularity. It says, prior to this weekend, did you ever think another movie could open to more than $300 million? AKA beat Kevin Feige. He says, I didn't think I could be defeated. For all the reasons I don't think anyone did. Because of, we called it! Can't handle this anymore. Because of the pandemic, because of the beating that theatrical took for so long. But once the bar has been raised, it could be raised again, right? The first movie to ever cross 100 million over opening weekend was Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. The first to cross 150 million in one weekend was Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. 200 was Avengers. 300 was Endgame. Blah, 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 blah. It says it's a testament to director Dustin Daniel Cretton, Tom Holland, and producer Amy Pascal. And Sony Pictures chairman Tom Rothman for letting us do this 4 times now, working to bring Spidey to the screen. Letting us do this. All right. I'm done for a minute. I can't keep reading this. Jonas, walk us through the ludicrous nature of Kevin Feige trying to take credit for Spider-Man.
Kevin Feige has been a producer for a long time, and he took a lot of credit very early on at Marvel when they started doing the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He was the guy who said, I'm the one who insisted that Wolverine's hair be higher on the set of X-Men 2, or sorry, X2, X-Men United. He's very quietly, been the one to be out there and say, I'm the one who did all of the good things, and everything that you don't like, that was. In fact, he wrote an entire book talking about how Ike Perlmutter, everything you don't like about the MCU was Ike Perlmutter. Or there's a guy, I believe his name was Alan Fine, that was at Marvel for a very long time. And all of a sudden, the time that Alan Fine and Ike Perlmutter aren't there, all of a sudden, the quality of the entire franchise, the MCU, seems to go down and further down and further down. And all of a sudden, you get a movie that it appears that Tom Holland puts his aura in quite a bit, and the movie is unlike any Marvel movie we've seen in recent memory. And Kevin Feige runs in and says, you know what? I'm going to take credit for that one. Parade already in motion, runs in front, and names himself Grand Marshal.
Feige is like, you remember the Obama quote, you didn't build that? That's Kevin Feige to Sony right now. You didn't build that. Lauren, before I've got more quotes from Feige, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, as well as, Lauren, why Hollywood was so, and all the trades were in such a hurry to say, this didn't win. This is not number one. Avengers Endgame is. Why do you think they did that when everybody with sensibility in their head knew it was going to win?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's the reasons were already discussed in the videos that they blocked. I think this has to do with the fact that they can no longer use the narrative that there's a superhero fatigue. The issue here at play is that they gave the audience what they wanted. They gave them a legitimate hero's journey that was not disparaging to either the character or the audience. They respected both of them and were vocal about it. And Tom Holland has got the kind of clout where he wanted to be done after No Way Home. They had to chase him, and that gave him leverage to say, then I get input. And he was audacious enough to go out and say it in public and say, I didn't like the direction this was going. We sat on the set, all of us together, understanding a scene wasn't working. We discussed it amongst ourselves, and we stopped shooting. And we brought a writer in, and we rewrote the scene to make the scene work. And that's the level of attention to detail that we paid to this movie to make sure that we got it right, to give this gift to the fans. They will not tolerate that kind of what they would call pandering to an audience that they have contempt for.
By the way, before we go back to the Kevin Feige quotes, this writer that almost nobody knows, and well, less people know it now because they took down our videos. Thank you, Hollywood. Justin Kuritzkis is the name of the writer that apparently was by Tom Holland's side. And when Tom Holland didn't feel like a scene was working, the two original writers, not there on the set, Justin Kuritzkis would step in and rewrite it the way that Tom Holland wanted. Now, you talk about savvy. That is crazy smart for Tom Holland, because then he doesn't have to be blamed. He doesn't have to, nobody says, well, this actor has all this hubris. Justin Kuritzkis is the guy who does the work for Tom Holland, but Tom Holland says, here's how it's not working. And Tom Holland detailed this in the interview that was struckified and removed from YouTube. So funny that, eh? All right, let's get back to the Kevin Feige quote, though, because I need you to see how he views this, folks, and how the spin is working right now. Kevin Feige, who is still looking for a win, post-Endgame. Well, let me say that. Let me put it out there, and you guys test it. Has Kevin Feige had a Kevin Feige-led film in Marvel since Endgame that has won at the box office? Is there one?
I'm trying to think. Sean Levy, outside director coming in on Deadpool and Wolverine. He's the one that, I guess that was Kevin Feige. I guess. Maybe.
But really not. Remember, that was a Bob Chapek ordered.
Reynolds. No, but yeah, Bob Chapek ordered. Ryan Reynolds in charge of it.
No, I don't know of a single film since Endgame, since they kicked out. Really, since they kicked out Perlmutter.
Well, no, the only example I came up with, I just realized, was the previous Spider-Man film, which also was not Kevin Feige.
Right, Sony, Amy Pascal. All right, here's what he has to say about this, okay? Here's how he's feeling. The question to him from Variety is, with some of the recent misses, though, it feels like audiences are getting tired of more of the same story. Do you agree? Now, this is good that they actually asked him about the misses. He says, many things can be true at once. I think last year's Fantastic Four looked and sounded like nothing that had been done in a superhero movie before, and it only grossed $521 million, did not break even. Brand New Day is very directly a part 4. Now, pay attention to that, because that's the defense. It picks up right after the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, and yet it tells a story that resonates. It's ultimately about loneliness and the dangers of staying in our apartments by ourselves, looking at our phones. That resonates across cultures and across the globe right now. By the way, that's not what the movie's about. At all. At all. This man, he doesn't even know what the movie's about. There's not a single thing about, is it about loneliness? To some degree. It's about the idea that no matter how good you are, you can't carry the cross by yourself. You can't carry all the woes of the world. You can't carry the load alone. It's not just about loneliness. That's why it's exploding. But here's the defense, right? Brand New Day is very directly a part 4. What he's claiming is that Fantastic Four did not do well because it's the first Fantastic Four movie that they made in the current MCU.
No, it did poorly because it's a boring movie.
But Jonas, it looks and sounds like nothing before.
Nothing interesting before.
That is true. All right, and then, what does the excitement for Brand New Day mean for Doomsday in December? Kevin Feige responds and says, for Avengers Doomsday and X-Men. That's interesting, isn't it? It bodes very well. When a shared universe works, these are the results.
No one's talking about the shared universe connections in a positive way, though. This is not something that I've heard anyone say, you know what was great? That scene where Yelena Belova shows up. Everybody's saying that was a little weird. I don't like that was in this movie that is otherwise pretty close to appropriate for children. The Punisher showing up, by the way, that was a non-Kevin Feige production that they were pulling into this quote-unquote MCU.
Right.
Film. Like, yeah, they did it. They did one Punisher thing, and he probably was in Daredevil Born Again, which again, all of this is from other Marvel stuff. So guess what? People are showing up for Marvel. People are showing up for Spider-Man.
Or Spider-Man.
Yeah. And Tom Holland and Zendaya, because
biggest stars in Hollywood right now, surpassing Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, though. I think they're actually afraid with Doomsday now. This is really worrying to them, because if Doomsday fails to break $1 billion, and who knows, right? Who knows? But if Doomsday is lackluster and Spider-Man Brand New Day breaks $2 billion, look out. Now you could say, there's no way it's going to break $2 billion. It's got to get a 2X. Most Marvel movies get a 2X. This is a really good movie.
They do.
Why would it not get a 2X? If it gets a 2X, it's going to break $2 billion. And they're afraid of that, Lauren. I think they know that is a very difficult task for Doomsday. And for an Avengers film to be outperformed by another studio's version of Marvel, it's got to be terrifying to them.
Yeah, I think one of the problems that they're going to have is they continue. You saw even in this article that they're still trying to link the studio doldrums to COVID and that kind of stuff. We've had multiple movies that are good this year that have made a lot of money, and it's showing that the audience will turn out if you produce good content that they want to see. So every time they trot out those old excuses again, they get lamer and lamer. The other thing they have to worry about with Doomsday, I think, is that part of the reason that this is working is because you're focusing on a single character. The crossovers are fun, but when every movie is a crossover, it's too much. And when you've got 30 main characters in a movie, it lacks all kinds of cohesion, and the audience eventually gets exhausted trying to follow and make sure that every character has got their moment, their plot beat, whatever it is that they are there to pursue. It stops being fun and it starts becoming exhausting. Sometimes you need to do a character study, and that's what this one is. And I would push back a little lightly because I think you're right that this is not a movie about isolation and staring at your phone. The pushback I would give you is that it is partially about loneliness, but I think it's more about grounding. You need to have relationships with other people to keep yourself grounded. And when Peter is not grounded with the people that he loves, they're all gone. Aunt May is gone. MJ is gone. Ned is gone. He has nobody. And then he starts to mutate. And
yeah, I haven't seen this movie. Do I need to step out here for a minute?
No, you're good. You're good.
No, honestly, it shows you that in the trailer. So if you've missed that, then you haven't been paying close enough attention.
I was hoping that was a misdirect, but
no, it's not a huge part of the thing, really. It's not going to spoil anything for you. The gist of this, though, is that when you become unmoored, suddenly you lose your direction and it gets scary, and you need to have those connections to keep yourself grounded, especially when you have something like a superpower, when you are so far above and beyond other people in what you can do. It can lead to something like a god complex, or the opposite, even worse sometimes, in that you go to pieces because you have nothing that is keeping you on the ground. So I think that's what the movie's about from my standpoint.
The other thing I think the movie is about is the idea that just like with Aunt May, that the people that loved you into being who you might be, the people who saw the potential and want you to become everything possible, that if you share them with those who didn't have those kinds of role models, that's the right thing to do. And that, to me, is a very poignant thing that might be just the kind of story that this generation needs. Kevin Feige doesn't understand it. Hollywood doesn't like it. They're simultaneously trying to bury it and claim credit for it. And that is a strange place for the Hollyweirds to be. You know, we've reached the end yet again. But ladies and gentlemen, we've had fun today, have we not? And until the next time we get to do so yet again, be a friend to the channel. Click that like button. Share your thoughts in the dialogue down below. And if you're not yet subscribed, well, we need you right here on Team Pro. Until we meet again, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.